Hello, Superboy the Legacy fans. This is your Superboy fact checker. Here with me, as always, is our editor-in-chief, the great, the wonderful Tom Gallagher. Hey, Tom.
Hello. You flatter me, sir.
Well, I can't keep calling you the ever irrepressible. It gets boring.
Let's mix it up a bit. I like to just keep things simple, and you flatter me. I think I'm actually turning red. But no, thank you everyone for joining us for another commentary.
Yep. This time we're going to be doing the Sons of Icarus, which is a season 3 episode.
Yep, season 3, episode 7.
It is a very Matt heavy episode, which there weren't many of them.
So that's basically why I wanted to watch this one. It's just because there weren't nearly enough Matt-centric episodes, and I do like Sons of Icarus. It may not be the greatest story, but I like it, and I've not watched it for a long time, so it's I thought it would be fun to actually watch this one again.
And it has an appearance of a very now famous actor and comedian, which we'll get into as the episode progresses.
Absolutely. We'll announce him the moment he's on the screen.
Yep. So for those of you who are new to this, this is not going to be like a typical reaction video. We are not going to be showing parts of the episode, in our video. This is a strict commentary. So what you'll have to do is you'll have to get your own copy of the episode. Again, it is season 3, episode 7. So it's disc 1 of the DVD set. So what we're going to do is we're going to count you in on you, and we'll do the 3, 2, 1, and then play, and then get ready. So 3.
Just hit play when we say play.
Yep. So 3, 2, 1, play.
So it's been a while since I've seen this episode. As I say, there's not enough Matt-centric episodes, so that's part of why I wanted to watch it, as I mentioned before. I don't know, is this an episode that people are fond of or not? Because I rarely hear people talk about it.
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, I'm fond of the episode. I mean, it does talk a little bit about American history and, the blight on American history that was slavery.
Which is always welcome when they bring in, historical and, it's like Star Trek. It's like Superman works well when there's sort of a morality play going on. And even if it's just a mention of history of slavery and stuff like that, I like that they at least bring up the conversation. I do love the bureau set,
Yeah, it actually feels real. Unlike some of the sets from seasons 1 and 2, they just didn't feel like they were, real, as it were.
Yeah. Even like, Clark's dorm room in both season 1 and 2, it felt like a set.
And we were mentioning this the last time when we talked about Superboy Lost. This one is directed by Richard J. Lewis, so you were right. He has done multiple episodes of the series.
And it's a well-directed episode, I think, I mean, even if you can fly, I still wouldn't go to space because you're still gonna have to breathe.
Yeah.
Do feel bad for the guy. I mean, if I was given an opportunity to be able to fly, I'd take it.
Yeah.
I maybe would watch out for power lines, though. But it does seem to affect their minds as well. It's almost intoxicating.
It's very euphoric the way this gentleman was acting.
Mm.
And this being a Matt-centric episode, Jackson doesn't appear once.
Huh. I mean, I guess it was night. Maybe Jackson had already... No, there he is.
Oh, right. He has one cameo.
I was just going to say, because it's set at night at the moment, maybe Jackson had already gone home, but no, I guess not.
Yeah, I'd forgotten that he does have a scene in here. Now we get this, the reason why Matt eventually does leave the bureau in the middle of the episode. His disillusionment with what he's doing.
And I get it. Dennis Jackson cannot be an easy person to work for. His attitudes in many scenes is kind of it leaves a lot to be desired, let's say.
Yeah.
But I like Jackson just because he's a grouch, but he
there
does
he is.
have a heart of gold.
The gentleman with the baseball cap is the great Wayne Brady.
Indeed. It's almost a shame that Wayne Brady didn't have more to do in this episode. But I guess, it's early enough in his career that there was no reason that they would give him, a bigger role.
Yeah. God, he looks so young there.
Yeah.
I think this he was on the British version of Whose Line Is It Anyway, right?
I think so. A bunch of the people from the American version started on the British.
Yeah. So I'm sure that this is before he went over to the UK for Whose Line.
Yeah. And it is funny you say how young he looks, because you're right, he does. And that's saying something, because, he still looks young. That dude has aged well.
Yeah. He's like a fine wine.
Yeah. This is the only time we see where Matt lives. I know we're not seeing much of his apartment, but we're seeing a little bit.
And of course, Matt, being very dismissive of this gentleman, thinks he's a salesman.
There's the magic word.
Yeah.
That's all he needed to hear, because, Clark's already mentioned it, and he's curious, but I do like to think at the same time that he's kind of there to do his job as well. He's still investigating.
Yeah.
Yeah, I really like Matt as a character. I think he's one of my favorite parts of season 3. And it's just a shame he didn't have more episodes that fit around him.
I have to say this character of Theo, he has this kind of cult leader vibe to him.
Definitely. Like, I know Peter J. Fernandez is he a college professor, or is he like an acting teacher at a university now? It's something like that, isn't it?
I would think he's probably like an acting coach or a college professor who teaches acting.
I'm pretty sure it is at a college. Like, I think it's one of the quite prestigious New York ones, but I don't think it's Juilliard. But
yeah,
I don't know. Part of me wishes I could go and sign up for his class. Get taught some acting by Matt Ritter. He'd probably end up kicking me out because I'd ask one too many questions about Superboy. He'd just get frustrated with me and get me kicked out.
Well, you see, this is why you would have to do it when you're not in class.
Yeah. I'll just ask if I can make an appointment to speak to him in his office. I'll just say I've got some questions that I'd love to know the answers to. He'd probably think they're, questions about acting, and I'll get in and I'll be like, "So, Superboy, like, so when you filmed Sons of Icarus?"
Yeah, and you know what he would say. So this is the reason why you took my class?
Yeah. It's funny with the the effects on the fire guy. It doesn't look particularly good, but for the time, I don't think it was terrible. It's supposed to be sort of like an otherworldly sort of magical fire demon creature, whatever.
Yeah.
And I think it works for that. I think if they had more time and a little bit of a higher budget, it would have been nice to have, like, as it's walking down the road, it could have been nice to have like smoldering footsteps left in the concrete and stuff. That could have been fun. But
yeah, like that scene in Superman 4 when the nuclear man is walking.
Yeah, something like that would have been really cool with it. But yeah, it's just the way it goes, I suppose. Still, I think it looks better than the Human Torch did in the unreleased Roger Corman Fantastic Four movie.
Yeah.
Played by Superboy's own Kryptonite kid himself, Jay Underwood.
Yep, the great Jay Underwood.
It's a shame he's not still acting these days, Jay Underwood, because I think he was good. I liked him in Uncle Buck as well.
What was the name of the character? Oh, yeah, Bug. He played Bug in Uncle Buck.
Yeah, he was great as Bug, I love Uncle Buck. It's one of my favourite comedies of all time. And I love Jay Underwood in that movie. He's just so funny. He just plays like a total creep.
Which he was.
Oh, yeah. Right, he was playing a bug. His name fit the character very well. But I think he's a priest or something now. He's like a vicar, I think.
Mm.
Which will probably make it very difficult to get him on the show, but I may have to see.
Not necessarily.
If he's listed as, the vicar at a certain church, if that church has a website, maybe I can email them and just say, is there any chance? They'll probably email back and say, no, sorry. But
especially considering we record every Sunday, and Sunday is always Mass Day.
That's true. Sunday would be, the busy day.
Yeah.
Still, usually you have Saturdays and Sundays off, don't you?
Yeah.
So we could always do it on a Saturday. People don't want to know this stuff.
I like how this older gentleman is sort of the voice of reason amongst the group.
Mm. The guy that's the janitor at the moment. He knows that what they're doing is dangerous and potentially getting people hurt or even killed, and he's still doing it, which makes me think that this is a lot more like we had the very euphoric flying guy at the beginning of the episode. It almost makes me think that the flying is almost an addiction for them in a way. Maybe it gives them a slight high, and that's why they don't want to give it up. But maybe I'm just reading too much into that.
No, I don't think that it is that, that you're reading too much into it. I mean, I think that is part of it. But Theo here, you can see why he's doing it, because he even says it at the end of the episode. He doesn't want to feel like, he's unnoticed.
Yeah. And you know, working as a janitor and stuff like that in this episode, it's I'm sure feeling unnoticed is an ongoing thing in his life, and it is sad. And it's like, you know, the flying and all of that being one of the, is it the Katia? Is that the
Yeah.
word?
Yeah.
Like, it makes him special, and who doesn't want to be special? You know. I don't know if I would continue flying if I knew that I was potentially getting people killed. I think that would be a step too far for me, and I'd be like, no, I'm not doing this anymore. That's insane. But
Yeah.
I can see why, under certain circumstances, characters like that might be a little bit more hesitant to give it up.
Yeah, so maybe your statement about the addiction to it is
Maybe it's less an addiction to the flying. Maybe it's more of an addiction to feeling like a somebody, like you're special. I know there's been superhero stories in the past where characters don't want to give up being a hero because the buzz they get from saving lives is almost intoxicating.
Yeah.
I can't think of any specific examples, but I know for a fact that I've read that at some point, multiple times even.
And you know, scenes like this, you know, at the African Heritage Bookstore is really great because it gives us a lot of exposition that, you know, is necessary for figuring out what the heck is going on here.
Absolutely. You know, I'm just glad that, you know, they what was that episode of The Next Generation in the first season that's the most racist episode ever made?
I know the episode. It's the one with Yar fighting, you know, that alien culture that it was originally envisioned as lizards.
Yeah, and it's just like, you know, this episode so easily could have crossed into that territory, and they never did. So it's just they managed to, you know, they keep the intrigue, but they never go into caricature or you know, any racist stereotypes. I mean, okay, you could argue the whole tribal element of it is a little bit out there, but I don't think they ever crossed into offensive territory. But then, you know, it's not for me to say, you know.
Right.
Maybe there are people that do find this episode offensive, but I think it's I think it toes the line quite well.
And now Clark with his usual stupid excuses. And you know,
he's got to get to the bureau. It's like, well, I can drive you. It'll be quicker. He's like, no, wait for that. He's got to find excuses wherever he can.
Yeah. And you notice he's not wearing the bandages anymore. And it's only been like, what, a day?
Yeah. There we are. Wayne Brady gets to fly. That shot was decent. You know, it didn't have the fiery footsteps that I said, but as it moves past the bench and the bench sets on fire as he moves, you know, I think it works pretty well. I like that there's, you know, smoldering and fiery elements in the background where the creature has walked past, and it's not a terrible effect. I think it's just the creature itself that looks a little bit dodgy.
Yeah.
But for the time, it's not that bad. I've seen much, much worse. And, you know, some of the euphoria may just come from the chanting, because I know there's been studies about, like, it's part of why people feel quite so uplifted when they're in church singing the hymns and stuff. Apparently, there is something about that that does create a sense of euphoria.
Yeah. And now Lana being the voice of reason, trying to tell him what's going on.
Mm.
And Theo lying through his teeth as usual.
I love though that Matt, Matt is smart enough to see that this is wrong, and he's thankfully, he was buying into it pretty heavily, but clearly not enough to the point where he'll, he's not willing to put people in danger because he's a good guy,
Yeah.
Like the older man as well. I forget his name. I don't even know if they said his name. Him there with the white shirt. It's like, he tried to talk the guy out of it. I'm surprised he's there helping them do it again, to be honest. After that conversation, I was pretty sure he was going to be done with it, but now he is, It's a good thing Lana stopped Matt because, that might have happened to him instead.
Yep.
But yeah, as we talked about, the guy's desperation to feel like a somebody, like he's special, totally plays well in that scene. And it's a shame because you do feel for the guy. Like, he's not a bad guy. I think he's just been beaten down by his position in life, He's a janitor. I'm not, not to say anything bad about janitors. They do an important job.
But he feels that he's been beaten down by everybody in life.
Yeah. And it's sad. You feel for the guy. It fits the title of this episode pretty well. Sons of Icarus. He flew too close to the sun and got burnt.
Yep.
And yeah. Now Matt gets to fly. Not quite the same, but
Such a good episode.
Yeah, I think this is definitely one of those underrated episodes. I wouldn't say it's among the best that Superboy had, but it's definitely among some of my, I wouldn't say it's like a mid episode. It's sort of halfway between one of sort of the medium episodes and one of the best episodes. It's sort of somewhere in the middle. If Road's Not Taken is a 10 out of 10, this is maybe a 7.5. It's like right in the middle of being average.
I would give it an 8. I would give it an 8 myself.
Yeah.
What takes it down for me, of course, is the effect on the creature. But given the time period that we were in, yeah, given the time period we were in and the shoestring budget that the show was on, I can see why it doesn't look great.
Yeah. And it's a computer generated effect. Like for television at the time, I mean, there weren't many shows that had visual effects like that. It's not a 3D model or anything like that. It's very much just sort of a rotoscoped digital effect. But I think it works well enough. I think, especially during that second time where we saw it on the street, and as it was walking along, like fires were being set along its path.
Yeah,
I
and
think
as
that
it was
worked quite
moving,
well.
you saw the way they did the lighting on it. So you saw the light was behind it, you know. So they did some things really, really well with it.
Absolutely, definitely.
I mean, overall, it's a good episode. It has an interesting, message to it, as it were.
Mm,
Um, it also, it's got some tension in it.
definitely. It's like, we see that this whole flying thing is almost intoxicating to the members of the Katia. And I don't know, part of me, the first time I watched it, I remember part of me thought maybe Matt would take a bit more convincing. But Lana comes in as the voice of reason, and as soon as he knows what's going on, he's basically done.
Yeah,
He's not gonna endanger anyone's lives just so he can fly. Because he's a stand-up guy. He's one of the good guys. He would never do that, and I'm glad that they didn't drag that scene out. I'm glad that literally the moment he found out what was going on, that was it.
yeah.
Um,
He basically says, "I'm done."
yeah, and I think it works really well. Yeah, I can't think of much else to say that we didn't already say during the episode. I thought Wayne Brady was kind of underused, but at this point in his career, you couldn't really expect.
Yeah,
It's not like they knew he was going to become the Wayne Brady.
yeah. It's not like he was Wayne Brady as we saw him on his short-lived talk show, or Whose Line Is It Anyway,
Yeah,
with whichever version we're talking about, because there's been like two versions here in the U.S.
yeah. I mean, the CW I know brought it back with Aisha Tyler as the presenter instead of Drew Carey, because is he doing The Price Is Right or something like that?
Yes, yeah, yeah,
Yeah, so it's like he's too busy. It's fair enough, and I think Aisha Tyler does a good job. I've always found her funny. I think the show is still really good from what I've seen of the more recent seasons. But yeah, if this was just a couple of years into the first American version of the show, like back during its sort of golden age of Whose Line, they probably would have expanded his role. Maybe they would have given him the lead sort of janitor role or something.
yeah.
But yeah, at this point in his career, it's fair enough. He
Yeah,
wasn't
he
he
was an
wasn't a name
extra.
yet.
Yeah, he was an extra pretty much.
Yeah, we only want to see more of him at this point because we know what he becomes. We know that I'm a big fan of Wayne Brady.
Yeah.
I don't know if anyone out there is. I'm a big like jazz fan, and Postmodern Jukebox on YouTube that did a cover of Michael Jackson's Thriller a few years ago, and Wayne Brady is the guest singer on it, and he sings Thriller, and you know what? He does a bloody good job. He was really, really good. It's one of my favorite songs that they've done actually on that channel, and yeah,
Yep.
love Wayne Brady, and
this was his first foray into the DC universe.
has he returned to the DC universe? I'm guessing in animation.
He
or something.
later did a voice on, I think it was Young Justice.
Yeah.
As I think it was one of the Beatles. I think it was the Black Beetle that he did. I'm not sure about the show, but I know he did do another voice in a DC Universe show.
Well, here's something. I mean, I am trying not to bring up season 5 quite as often. Try and just keep season 5 for its own specific series. But I don't know. Superboy reused actors all the time. What would you think of him as Cyborg?
At this time in his life?
Teen Titan Cyborg. He's not an adult. He still looks very young, so he could be sort of a Teen Titan-esque version of the character.
But remember, when we introduce Robin, he's going to be, like 13, 14. So
Cyborg can be one of the older ones, the Teen Titans,
Yeah.
Robin can be third. We're not necessarily going to have the Teen Titans in the show. I'm just saying he'll be that sort of age.
Yeah.
Maybe he'll join the Justice League like he did in, the DC movies or something, or the New 52. But I don't know. I think Wayne Brady would be a pretty good cyborg at this point. It'd be interesting. He'd have to wear some sort of like faceplate instead of,
He might be good as that, but there's also one other role that he might also be good as.
Mm-hmm.
Black Lightning.
Yeah, I like the older Black Lightning, though.
Well, if you think about it, Black Lightning is about the same age, maybe a couple of years older than Superman. So,
Yeah, I'm just thinking. I don't know if you watched the CW Black Lightning show. I only saw part of the first season, but I liked the fact that he was sort of coming out of retirement, like almost like he would have made a good sort of JSA member.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think I haven't got a story for either character at the moment. I'm just, speaking theoretically. Yeah, maybe if we ever bring in Cyborg, maybe Wayne Brady will be that, or maybe he'll be Black Lightning. Could be even interesting in that we could, have our cake and eat it too. We could have an older Black Lightning, but then have flashbacks to his younger days when he was first being a superhero, like, I don't know, in the 70s or something. That could be fun. And Wayne Brady could play that version. Yeah. But anyway, thank you all so much for watching this commentary on Sons of Icarus, which is an episode that I think is underrated. Let us know, is this one of your favorite episodes? Is it just one that you like but you don't love? Just let us know your thoughts on the episode itself. We're always interested to know, because this is one of the episodes where I genuinely don't know what the consensus is on it. Maybe maybe we have an unpopular opinion on this one. Maybe there's people out there that hate this episode. I just don't know. I can't imagine there'd be many, but we'd love to have that conversation. So leave us some comments. Other than that, be sure to like, share, subscribe. Thank you all so much for watching. We'll see you on the next one, which will be a commentary on the season 1 episode, Black Flamingo. Just because we keep teasing that we're going to do Black Flamingo at some point, and we kind of just want to get it out of the way. So, next week will be Black Flamingo commentary. Yep. We'll see you then.
Yep. And Wayne Brady, if you do watch our show, please comment.
Yeah, I doubt he'll see this, but Wayne Brady, if you are seeing this, I'll probably try to get in touch with you on Twitter or something in the days to come, because we would love to have you on it. Maybe we'll do a second commentary with Wayne Brady. That could be interesting. But
if we can get him, that is.
If we can get him, there's a very good chance we just won't. We don't know anyone that knows Wayne Brady. So, it would be a difficult task, but it's not going to stop us trying.
Yep.
Anyway, goodbye.